Pranam. Uh, Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita discourses. Uh, I'm Swami Prabodhananda. Uh, Hello. So today we thought of uh, starting this Bhagavad Gita in English in this YouTube platform so that it can be accessible to everybody. Welcome everybody. So we are starting from the seventh chapter because we have started these online classes. So we'd like to start from the very beginning of the first verse, because on the last week we had already discussed some of the verses. So from today we are going to start from the very beginning, and as we progress, we are going to catch up. So welcome you all again. So before this Bhagavad Gita starts, we have to meditate. We have a mantra which is about the meditation of Bhagavad Gita. So I'm going to recite that mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyaseena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhainim Amba Tomanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Namastute Vyasa Vishal Bhute Fular Brinda Yatapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipa Prapadna Parijataya Totravatrai Kapane Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Amrita Duhe Namah सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपाल नंदन पार्थवत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीतामृतम महत् वसुदेव सुतम देवम कंसचानूरमर्दनम देवकी परमानंदम कृष्णम वंदे जगद्गुरुम भीष्म द्रोण तटा जयद्रथ जला गंधारी नीलोत्पला शल्लग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामा विकर्ण घोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी शोतिग्न खलु पांडवै धननदी कैवर्तक केशव पाराशर्जवच सरोजम अमलम गीतार्थ गंधोत्कटम नानाख्यानक केसरम हरि कथा संबोधना बोधितम लोके सज्जन षड्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद भरत पंकजम कलिमल प्रध्वंसी न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानंद माधवम यं ब्रह्मा वरुरेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवै वेदै साङ्गपदोक्रमोपनिषदै गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यां तं न विदुसुरा सूर्यगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। So we start the seventh chapter. From the seventh chapter, actually the devotion part and whom to meditate upon is the actual subject. Like from the second chapter, that is Sankhya Yoga, to the sixth chapter, Lord Krishna has talked at length about knowledge and karma yoga. He had talked about discipline, how to control your mind, how to control your knowledge, how to control your karmas, and how to get rid of the attachment towards the fruits of action. So these were all the discipline that we need for a healthy spiritual life. Now from this seventh chapter, he talks about the Lord which has to be adored. So what kind of Lord? Is it the Lord with attributes, with form, with name, or the Lord which is nameless, which is formless. So that has to be understood, and that has to be determined. What kind of Lord that we are going to adore? What kind of Lord that we are going to connect? So we had studied the sixth chapter. The sixth chapter was the yoga of meditation. On the last part of the yoga of meditation, Lord Krishna said that tapasvibho adhiko yogi jnanibhyopi matodhika karmibhyo chadiko yogi tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. He said, see, yogi is not being a yogi. When you become a yogi, you are not in the path. You have already reached the ultimate, you have already reached the absolute. So this person who has already attained the state of absolute, he also becomes the absolute, and that is why he does not have any adjuncts. He does not have any attributes. So he cannot be judged whether he is from he's from the dualistic point of view, or he's from the non-dualistic whether he has approached the self from the approach the Lord from the dualistic point or the non-dualistic point. He has already reached the absolute, so there is nothing to be discussed about. So he said that from all these wise men, or the people who are who are engaged in penance, or people who are engaged in karma yoga, from all these people, this yogi, a person who has already achieved this state of yoga, is the best. And then within all these yogis, he says, which yogi is the one who is most dear to me, or who is the yogi, what kind of yogi, or who is that yogi who is very, very close to me. So he says, yogi namapi sarvesham madgate nantaratmana. He said, within all these yogis who have reached the state of yoga, person who has who has a mind who is always surrendered to me, whose mind is always surrendered to me, and Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukto tamo mataha, and the person who has complete faith in me, who has the yogi who has complete faith in me, and the yogi whose mind is totally surrendered to me, this person, this yogi is very, very connected, or deeply connected, or most connected, or most liked by me. So this is what Lord said in the last verse of the sixth chapter. Now from the seventh chapter, he determines how shall you, or how shall we approach in the path of yoga. How shall we approach in the path of yoga? By being always devoted to the Lord. And which kind of Lord is it? Is it the Lord who is, who has got attributes? Is it the Lord who has got a name and a form, or a Lord who does not have any name and form? So most of the spiritual world is divided into this, in this determination, whether the absolute is nameless or formless, whether the absolute has got form or it is formless, whether it is without attribute or it is with attribute, whether it has got name, it has got form, or it doesn't have any name and any form. So this this discussion is always there, and this is what keeps people engaged. Lord Krishna is very, very clear in this aspect. He said that the absolute is the same, or the absolute is the one which you perceive, whatever you like to perceive. If you think that formless is your way, so the Lord is formless. If you think that no, I need a Lord who has got a form, who has got a name, with whom I can connect, with whom I can see, whom I can contemplate upon. So when you think about this, so for you the Lord is that, with a name, with a form. So there is no discussion about that. The discussion which has to be which is to be which ought to be made is this, that how do you devote yourself into the Lord? How much? What is the sincerity level? What is the honesty level? What is the what is the devotion level? What is the level of love? What is the level of devotion? What is the level of concentration, sincerity? That is the main thing, and that is what has been discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita doesn't say whether the Lord is formless or has a form. Bhagavad Gita doesn't say whether the Lord is an individual God or a universal God, whether it doesn't go into these kind of things. It only talks about the science, and that is why Bhagavad Gita is the science of spirituality, the science of life. So let's start. The first verse that we are going to discuss. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Atha Saptamo Adhyayah Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So now the Bhagavad Gita starts, is the 7th chapter, and the 7th chapter is called the Yoga of Meditation and the Yoga of Knowledge and the Yoga of Meditation. So Jnana and Vijnana. Jnana means knowledge, but here the knowledge is the intellectual knowledge, the knowledge which is imparted to you by the master, the knowledge which is imparted to you by the scriptures, the knowledge that you have from your from your senses, your mind, that knowledge. And meditation means when you have the direct realization of what you have heard, of what you have learned. So the direct realization of the knowledge, of the intellectual knowledge, is called meditation. So the yoga of in Sanskrit it's called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. That is, you gather the knowledge from the master, you go to the master, you hear it, and then you contemplate upon it, and then you have the realization of that. So when you have the realization of that what you have already heard, that is called Vijnana. Realization means Vijnana. So Jnana Vijnana Yoga. That is, the yoga of knowledge and the yoga of meditation. So let's start. So here it says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord speaks. Maya Sakta Manapatha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asangsayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasasi Tatsrinu. It says, now I am going to teach you. Now I am going to talk about how to engage yourself into the state of yoga by being completely devoted in me. This is a very, very important aspect that we are going to learn. We meditate, we contemplate, we do our spiritual practice. But Lord Krishna says this is not enough. Only meditation, only contemplation, only doing your spiritual practice or doing your karma yoga is not enough. You need to always devote your mind into me, or this me is what it is for you. If you are on the path of non-dual self, so this me means the non-dual self, consciousness. And if you are in the path of duality, if you are in the path of devotion, so this means the Lord to whom you are devoted. So there is no discussion about that. What is this me? This me is very, very objective. It depends upon the devotee. It depends upon the seeker. But the thing is that whenever we practice, we need to follow some rules. So here it says that if you really need to be the one who is very, very dear to me, that is the one who really knows me from a very, from very close, who knows me from very close, who is very dear to me, who is very close to me. If you really want to become that, so you have to engage yourself into the process of yoga by being devoted to me. So whatever you do, whether you chant, you do your japa, you meditate, you contemplate, You discuss, you hear, or you say, whatever you do, or you do some karma yoga, whatever you do, your mind should always be devoted in Him, in Him, in the Lord whom you are dedicated to whom you are devoted to. He may be formless, or he may have a form. It doesn't matter. The most important factor is your own devotion towards Him. So the Lord says that now I'm going to teach you about that yoga, which about that yoga which you will, you will engage upon by being devoted on me. Asangshayam samagram mam yatha gyasasi tatshrinu. Now here is a word called asangshayam. Asangshayam means being doubtless. Being doubtless or having full faith. So, why does he always say about this? In Bhagavad Gita, if you see, you will see there's always this term, asangshayam, asangshayam. Don't have doubts. Don't doubt my words. That means have faith in me. So why does he say so much about having faith? Because complete faith is complete knowledge. Your doubt, your confusion is the ignorance that you have within you. This is the mother of your, this is the mother of your ignorance. If you don't have any doubt, like when you listen to your master, when you listen to your master, in that instance, you don't have the realization. You have the realization after you go through a process. So what happens in this process? When you go through this process, what you do is you just clear your mind, clear the doubts that are there in your mind. That is what you do. You don't go near the knowledge. You don't approach the knowledge. You don't have to, you don't have to connect with the knowledge. Why? Because you are already connected with that knowledge. There is no way that you can connect with that knowledge. There's no way that you can approach that knowledge, because it's always within you. You are always one with that. And there is no way that you can know Him also, because you are that already. So what is the difference? The difference is this: doubts, confusions, having no faith. Having no faith. A person who has complete faith, asangshayam. A person who has complete faith, he says, asangshayam samagram mam yatha gyasasi tatshrinu. Having complete faith in me, whatever I'm saying, just listen. So if you listen, you don't have to meditate. You don't have to go through any process. If you can listen to these words without having any doubt within you, without having any hindrance within you, any blocks, without having any doubts, any blocks within you, just if you can just listen to Him, that is what is going to, fetch the complete knowledge about that particular subject. So this is what the first verse says. Maya sakta manapatha yogam yunjam madashraya asangshayam samagram mam yatha gyasasi tatshrinu. I am going to talk to you about that yoga which you are going to practice by being devoted to me. Now, whatever I am saying to you, just listen to it without having any doubt. So if you can listen to Him without any doubt, you have to be sure that listening itself, that hearing itself will yield the knowledge that is within you, is going to manifest the knowledge that is already within you. The next one. Jnanam teham sa vijnanam idam vaksham asheshata. Now I am going to talk to you about details. Now I am going to talk to you about details about the knowledge. About the knowledge and how to realize it. I'm not only going to talk about the knowledge. I'm not going to talk about the theory. See, this is the theory and that's it. It's not that. I'm going to talk about the theory, and then, I'm going to tell you how you should realize it. How you should realize it. Yajagyatva neha bhuyo anyat gyatavya avashishyate. And after knowing what I'm going to tell, after knowing what I'm going to tell you, there will be nothing to be known after that. If you can listen to these without having, a simplest doubts, a simplest confusion, a simplest, inhibition within you, just listen with full faith, then this is going to fetch you the knowledge and its realization. Then it says, Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid dati siddhaye yadatamapi siddhanam kaschinmam vetti tatvata. It says, in this human race, thousands and thousands of people, within thousands and thousands of people, within millions of people, there is one or two who really wants to know me. In millions and millions of human in this world, there's only one or two who really wants to know me. And if you gather these one or two into thousands, one from here, one from there, in this way, if you can gather into thousands, in those thousands who really want to know me, there will be one or two who will know me perfectly, who will have the proper knowledge of me, who will have the proper knowledge of the Atman, or the self, or me. So why is that? The only reason is about faith. A person who can have complete faith, who can have this, who can maintain this complete faith, he is the person who will know him. Though we start our spiritual journey, though we do all the spiritual processes which has been told to us, but somewhere or the other there is lack of faith. There's lack of faith on myself, about me being, about me attaining that state, lack of faith about, the person from whom I'm listening, lack of faith about the subject which I'm listening. All this is there within us. So what we need to do is, we need to eradicate the entire, faithlessness within us. And the moment we can eradicate the entire faithlessness within us, we will see that we are filled with knowledge, we are filled with bliss, we are filled with peace, we are filled with, we are free from everything. Now it starts, now he is going to talk about the science. He says, you see, there is this consciousness. This is the consciousness which is beyond everything. So this consciousness which is infinite, which is true, which is existence, this is beyond everything. Beyond everything means it's beyond the world that you see, the panorama that you see. It is beyond everything that you see. It is beyond everything that you hear, smell, touch, or taste. So it's beyond everything. So what is this? What is this world which has got this, this form, which has got this form, which has got a sound, which has got a taste, which has got a smell, which has got a touch? What is this world? So he explains these two existences. One is the conscious self, and the other is the nature. Nature, Prakriti means, it's called nature. Nature means the outer world. The nature of the outer world, the nature of the material world. What is the material world? What is the material world consists of? What are the constituents of material world? And what is the extent of consciousness? Is the consciousness present in the material world or not? So he is going to talk about this, the difference between the consciousness and the material world, and whether the material world consists any consciousness within it, or any divinity within it, or where is the divinity, and where shall we approach to connect with the divine. So this is what he says. So he says, whatever world you see, this external world is made up of 8 basic elements. What are those 8 basic elements? Bhumirapo nalo vayu khangmano buddhirevacha ahankaram iti yemam bhinna prakriti rashtadha. He says this external world that you venture, we all venture into the external world, into the material world. This external world has got 8 constituents, 8 elements. It's built with 8 elements. What are they? Bhumi. Bhumi means earth. The earth material, the earth element. Bhumi. Apa. Apa means water, the water element. Then Bhumi, Apa, Anal. Anal means fire. Fire. Vayu. Vayu means wind. And Khang. Khang means sky. So these five, basic elements. The 5 basic elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and sky. These 5 elements. And then Mana, Buddhi, and Ahankar. Mana means mind, Buddhi means intellect, and Ahankar. Ahankar means, ego. So these eight added together, this consists everything about the material world. That means our body, our body is made up of these 5 elements. The body is made up of 5 elements. What are the 5 elements? These 5 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and sky. That means the body also is a part of this material world. It is also not consciousness. Mind that we have, we think that this is my mind. The mind is me. We are all ruled by our mind. This mind also is from the external world. It doesn't have any relationship whatsoever with your nature, with your real nature. Your real nature is always independent from the mind. The mind belongs to the external world, the material world. Mind, intellect. The intellect also belongs to the external world, and the ego. That means the body that we have, and the body which is run by the mind, intellect, and the ego. These are all constituents of the external world. These are all constituents of the material world. We have no relationship with that. The one which resides within us, within this body, the one who resides within the body is totally independent from the 5 elements: mind, intellect, and ego. And spiritual world, or spiritual life, or spiritual science is all about knowing this fact, that the consciousness, or the one who resides within this body, is free from everything. It's free from everything. It's free from the body, it's free from the mind, it's free from the intellect, it's free from the ego. That is what we need to understand. That is what we need to know. And that is why we have taken birth again and again, just to know this only fact. The fact that I am always independent from everything has to be known. Has to be known. When I don't know, then also I am free from all this. Why I don't feel that I am free from all this? Because of superimposition. Because I impose myself, or this mind, it gets imposed on me. This mind gets imposed on me, and I think myself to be a mind. How? Like we have a mirror. We have a mirror, and the mirror doesn't have any color. And there's this red bulb somewhere in the room. So this red bulb, it emits this red light, and this red light falls in the mirror, and the mirror appears to be red. But the mirror is not red. Though it appears to be red, it is never red. It does not have any color. This redness is a superimposition on that mirror, on that colorless mirror. In this way, all the thoughts, the ego, all the thoughts, the ego, all this, whatever we know as, what we know as the world, these are all our impositions on the consciousness. When we get rid of all these impositions, when we get rid of all these impositions, we see that there was nothing. I was always independent from everything. I'm always independent from everything. I was never associated with anything whatsoever, what I have known myself to be. I'm always free from all this. So, Bhumirapo Nalo Vayu Kangmana Buddhirevacha Ahankaram iti yemam bhinna prakritir ashtada. This whole external prakriti, external nature, the mundane nature consists of these five elements: mind, intellect, and ego. That's it. But I am not attached to it. I am not there. Me bhinna prakriti ashtada is different from me. I am not there. This I, who is this I? This I is consciousness. This I is the reality. This I is the reality. This I is the consciousness. This I is the real I. This I is that I which does not change, which is immutable. Sanatana, which is immutable, which doesn't change, which doesn't have any transformation. Avikari, it doesn't have any transformation, it doesn't change. It doesn't change, it doesn't have any transformation, it doesn't have any mobility. It's immobile. Why? Because it's infinite. It's infinite, it's everywhere, it's omnipresent. So because it's omnipresent, it is immovable. And it doesn't have any ignorance in it. It's knowledge absolute. It's like the sun, luminous. It's like the sun, it's a self-luminous object. It does not emit knowledge, it is knowledge. It is knowledge. Anybody who gets attached, who gets connected with that becomes that knowledge. So, these external objects. For instance, is that I, which it talks about. This, I am always separate from this. So we are that I, who are separate from this, five elements: mind, intellect, and the ego. We are all different. The moment you can realize this, the moment you can contemplate this, that I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego. The moment you can contemplate it completely, everything depends upon your contemplation. If you can contemplate this, that at this point, now, if you can contemplate now that I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego. If you can contemplate now, that I am not the body, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego. If you can contemplate now you are going to be the wise man. Now you will see that this wisdom will manifest unto you. This knowledge will manifest unto you. At this point, it will not take, it will not take time. Now, at this instance, this will come out. So everything depends upon your own contemplation, perception. And spiritual science is all about this, perception. When you go to the master helps you gain this perception. The master helps you gain this perception that this world is false. World is false. World is not untrue. It is false. Why? It has got, what you see is not that. What you see is you see the world this way. It is not that way. It is also the consciousness. And that is why it's false. It's like, looking at, it's like, viewing, it's like, watching a rope, a snake in the rope. I see a rope and I watch it, I know it as a snake. But it's never a snake. It's always a rope. But when I see the rope, I see this is a snake, and and because I've seen this, I believe it, and I behave like it, behave as if it's a snake, but it is never a snake. So this world that you see is also not what you see it is. It is also consciousness. It's also consciousness. But you will never understand this till you are bounded with the mind and the intellect and the ego. Till you are bounded with mind, till you know that you are the mind, till you know that this mind is yours, all the thoughts that comes is all yours. You have got a great connection with that. These thoughts rule you till you have this kind of, till you are in this state. You are never going to know that everything that you see in the external world or the internal world or whatever you see anywhere is the self. Till you are connected with anything of this external world, you will never know this fact that everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Ultimately, we are going to see that everything is consciousness. Now Krishna is trying to separate Arjuna from this world, because if he does not separate Arjuna from this world, then Arjuna will never know that existence which lies beyond this world. But once he knows that existence which lies beyond this world, then he will know that everything is that existence itself. There is nothing without that. Whatever it is that existence. It is that self. Okay, so he says this, that bhumi rapo nalo vayu khang mano buddhi revacha ahankaram iti emam bhinna prakritir ashtadha. It talks about the external world. See, this is everything about external world, and in that I am not there. Then it says, apareya mitastwanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yadedam dharyate jagat. There is another one. There's another thing apart from that consciousness. First of all, I said about this external world. And then there is another world, that is me, which is beyond this. But in this intermediate state, in me and this material world, there is another thing. What is that? That is called the individual self, the individual consciousness. What is the individual consciousness? The individual consciousness is a mixture of consciousness and matter. What is matter? Matter is these 8 elements that he had said. Bhumi, Rapo, earth, water, fire, wind, sky, mind, intellect, and ego. This 8. This is matter. So these 8, when mixed with consciousness, they form an intermediate state between consciousness and matter. This is consciousness, pure consciousness. This is me, and this is matter, pure matter, where there is no me. But in between these two, there is another one which is a mixture of me and not me. It's consciousness and matter. This is called individual soul or Jivatma. Jivatma. He says, with this Jivatma, I hold this external world, I fasten this external world, I hold it together. With the help of this Jivatma, that means with the help of this consciousness, teamed with matter, I hold fast this entire universe with me. Okay? Now it says, etadyoniti bhutani sarvani ityupadharaya aham kritsna jagata prabhava pralayas tatha. So with these two, with the help of these two, one is matter and one is a mixture of matter and consciousness. With these two, I hold fast this entire world. But I am the creator of this world. Though I am not in this world, though I am not in anything in this world, but I am the creator of this world and I am the destroyer also. That means whatever you see in the external world, has originated from that consciousness. That means there is only this consciousness which is the reality. Before this creation, there was this consciousness, and after the complete destruction, after this complete destruction, this consciousness will again remain. So the reality is this consciousness, and this consciousness is the source, is the creator, and as well as the destroyer of this material world. Then it says, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. O Dhananjaya, O Arjuna, there is nothing which is beyond me. Whatever you see, everything is me, is from me. Everything has originated from me. You will find no particle, atomic particle, subatomic particle, quarks, whatever subtle you go, you will never find any particle which has not originated from me. Means I am the original, I am the real, I'm the source. I'm the source. Whatever you see in this external world has originated from me. There is nothing in this external world which has not originated from me. That means there is nothing, other than me. There is nothing other than me. There is no other consciousness. There's only one consciousness. There's only one consciousness. You regard it as having form, or you regard it having no form. It's all the same. It's all the same. It doesn't change. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. It's all the same. So, matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. O Dhananjaya, there is nothing which is beyond me. There is nothing in this world which does not originate from me. Mai sarvamidam proktam sutre manigana eva. I am the one. I am the one. I am the string. I am the string of a garland. What does this string do? The string holds fast all the flowers with it. The flowers are there, all are different, all are separate. But how are they together? How are they hold together? They hold together because there is a string which is attached to every flower. And that is why all the flowers appears to be together, which becomes a garland. Krishna says, I am like that string in the garland. I hold fast the entire universe within me. I am the one which goes, in beneath everything, holding everything together. How does this universe, exist? How does these galaxies exist together? How are they moving without disturbing anybody, without falling into another galaxy? How is it? Everything is hold tight. How is it happening? It's happening because of this consciousness which is holding everything together. Okay, so matta parataram nanyat kinchidati dhananjaya mai sarvamidam proktam sutre manigana eva. I am the one which holds the entire garland together, and the string. Then he talks about himself. What is that consciousness? What is that consciousness, and up to what extent that consciousness is present within our own life? Just listen to it. If you can look around in a better way, if you can look around everything, if you can remember this, then we will see that we are always surrounded by this consciousness. It's everywhere. Everywhere. We are not alone. There's this consciousness everywhere. There's nothing to fear. I'm always surrounded by this consciousness. If I don't see it, if I don't feel it, but it's there. Now, when I know that it's there, and after knowing that, when I start to practice it, then I can feel its existence. And Krishna is trying to help us feel the existence of consciousness in every being, in everything that is present that is present around us. He says, Rasoham apsu konteya prabhavashmi shashi suryayo. Rasoham apashu. Rasoham apashu, in water. I am the essence within water. I am the nectar. I am the sweetness. I am the nectar within water. When we are thirsty, we drink water and we feel happy. We feel satisfaction. We feel peace. What is that which gives us peace? Because in water, it is the Lord which remains, who is there. It is that consciousness who stays there, who is there in the water as the nectar of that water, as the essence of that water. I see the water. I see the water and I think that this is a matter, but it's not a matter. Within the matter, there is consciousness. There is consciousness. And that is the consciousness is the essence of that matter. So he says, I am the essence of the water. I am the nectar of that water, present within the water. The next time when you drink water, you know that you are getting connected with that consciousness. Because the moment you drink water, you feel happy, you feel peace. You feel peace. That peace has come to you because of that consciousness which is already there in the water. Rasoham apashu konteya prabhavashmi shashi suryayo. And I am the light. I am the light of the moon. I am the light of the sun. Sunlight, moonlight. When there's full moon, we go outside, we go to the beach. We go outside, we enjoy the full moon night. Why it seems to be so happy? Why it seems to be so joy in the full moon night? Because on that night, the Lord is blossomed in its full, the Lord is also in the state of full bloom state. The Lord is, manifested to the maximum. And that is why we like it. Sunlight, moonlight. He says that I am the light of the sun. I am the light of the moon. Rasoham apasu konteya prabhavashmi shashi suryayo. Pranava sarva vedeshu. Like all the Vedas, in every Vedas, they are not verses, they are all mantras. Mantras. All the words, all the sentences, all the syllables, they start with Om. And because they start with Om, that is why they are not syllable, they are not sentences, they are not slokas, they are not verses, they are all mantras. Why? What is called mantra? Mantra means a thing, that by which I can go beyond my mind. Mantra is that by which I can go beyond my mind. That is called a mantra. So in Vedas, everything is a mantra. If you study Vedas with full faith, you will go beyond your mind. It says, I am the Om of that Vedas, in the Vedas. So that which makes a sentence into a mantra, that which makes a sentence into a mantra, the Lord is that Om. Because of the presence of Om, the sentence becomes a mantra. So, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, Shabda Khe, I am the sound in the sky. I am the sound in the sky. And Paurusham Nishu, I am the courage within a human being. But this courage is the courage of truth, of honesty, of modesty, of sincerity. It's not, it's not the strength of the evil. It's not that. It is the courage which comes from modesty. It's the courage which comes from honesty, from truth. So I am that courage within a human being. So if you have that courage, that is the Lord. Pranava sarva vedeshu shabdakhe paurusham nishu. I am I'm the Om in every Vedas. I am the sound in the sky, and I'm the courage within a human being. Then it says, Punya Gandha Prithivyam cha Tejas Chashmi Vibhavaso. I'm the sweet smell of the earth. You know, our Mother Earth has got a sweet smell. When there's a rain, you will see. When it rains, you will see that there's a sweet smell which comes out from the Mother Earth. I am that sweet smell, and I am the I'm the heat of the fire. The heat, the fire contains is the Lord. I'm the heat of the fire. Jivanam sarva bhuteshu. I'm the life of every being. The life which resides within me is Him. The life which resides within you is Him. It's not you. It's not your life. You say, it's my life. No, it's not your life. This life is His. This life is Him. It's not your life. You know, if it would have been your life, you would have stayed till you want to, but you cannot stay. You have to go the moment it leaves. So it's not your life. He is your life. He is the life. It's Him who is the life. Jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschashmi tapashvishu. I'm the penance of the one who undergoes this penance. I'm that. Okay? So, today we're going to stop here. Another one. It says, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam biddhi partha sanatanam. Know me to be the eternal, immutable seed. Now, when it talks about this Sanatan word, Sanatan means something which does not change. So he says that I am the eternal seed within every being. Now, everything changes in this world. This world means, it's a process of change. The change is change is constant in this world. But it says that I am that seed, I am that changeless seed. I do not mutate. I do not change. That means He is there within you the way He is from eternity. So, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam biddhi partha sanatanam. Now, in me, He is there the way He is eternally. In you, He is there as the seed. The seed, we are all like the seed, the seed which sprouts into a plant and then into a tree. In this way, the life, we also have come from a seed. And that seed is not from our parents. That seed is from the Lord Himself. He says, I am that immutable, changeless seed from eternity. I've been with you. So He is within me as that eternal seed. He is within you as the eternal seed of life. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam biddhi partha sanatanam. I am the seed within every life. I am the seed, I am the eternal seed, I am the unchangeable seed within every life. Then Buddhir buddhi matam ashmi. I am the wisdom of the wise. Where does the wise get his wisdom? This wisdom is the Lord Himself. I am the wisdom of the wise. Tejas Svinamaham. I am the power of the powerful. I am the spirit of the spirited. I am the spirit of the spirited. I'm the power of the powerful. I'm the strength of the strong. I'm the strength of the strong. So today we are going to stop here. We have another class from 8:30 in Bengali. So I hope that you have enjoyed it. So, every Thursday. We are going to start at 6, and as time rolls, we'll see that it's going to be better and better. Thank you very much. And there is something called Gita Mahatma, that is the greatness of Bhagavad Gita, which we have never, which I have never told you. This talks about, Lord Krishna talks about Bhagavad Gita. How does he feel about Bhagavad Gita? So a person who listens to Bhagavad Gita has to know this, greatness of Bhagavad Gita from the Lord himself. What is Bhagavad Gita for Lord Krishna? So we need to know it. And then there is this, like eight names which needs to be heard. These 8 names, they are very pious names which needs to be heard. So I'm reciting the slokas, and then I will try to translate it. This is what has to be done after we study Bhagavad Gita. So Sri Sri Gita Mahatma means the greatness of Sri Sri Gita, Sri Sri Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord Sri Krishna, he speaks. Gita me hridayam partha, Gita me saram uttamam. He says, O Partha, O Arjuna, O the son of this world, Gita is Gita means Bhagavad Gita. In India we say Gita, just Gita, not Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavad Gita, just Gita. He says, Gita is my heart, and Gita is my highest essence. Sara Uttamam, it's my highest essence. Gita me Jnanam Atyugram, Gita is my highest knowledge. I've said the highest knowledge, in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Gita me Jnanam Avayam, and this Bhagavad Gita is my indestructible knowledge. Infinite here, Avayam doesn't means indestructible, it means infinite. Gita is my infinite knowledge. Gita me Chottamam Sthanam, it's my, Gita is my highest abode. I reside within Gita. Gita is my highest abode. Gita me Paramam Padam, and this is my, this is my absolute state. Bhagavad Gita is my absolute state. Gita me Paramam Gujjam, and Gita is that which is, which is the greatest mystery. Gita is my greatest mystery. Gita me Paramo Guru, and Gita is also my master. Bhagavad Gita is also my Lord Krishna's master. Gita Shayoham Tishtami, I rest in the abode of Gita. I rest in Gita. Gita me Paramam Griham, Gita is my absolute abode. Gita is my absolute home. Gita Jnanam Samashritta Trilokim Palayamyaham, and with the knowledge of Gita, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, I rule this entire world. I rule this entire world. Gita me Parama Vidya Brahma Rupa na Sanshaya, Gita is my absolute knowledge, and it is Brahma, it is Brahman, it is that Atman, it is that consciousness, and don't doubt about it. This Bhagavad Gita is that, that absolute consciousness, absolute, being, absolute Brahman. Ardha Matra Hara Nityam Anirvachya Padatmika. It has been said within just half a sentence. Within half a sentence, I have explained everything about Bhagavad Gita, and it's Anirvachya Padatmika. You cannot say, you cannot tell with definite, you cannot tell with complete surety what is going to, what this Gita is going to do to you. You cannot say. You think that Gita is this much, Gita is that much. It's not that. Just keep on studying Gita. Just keep on, dwelling within Gita. You will see it's far more different from what you have thought about. It's completely different from what you have thought about. You have to keep dwelling into it, within it, just keep diving within it. And every time you come out, you will find new treasure, new treasure. Gita namani bakshami gujjani shinu pandava kirtanat sarva papani bilayam yanti tachanat. Gita has got some names, and that I'm going to tell you. These are very mysterious. This is very mystic. These names, which I'm going to tell you. Just if you can utter these names, these will give you, these will just, these will just cleanse you from all sins. All the sins that you have incurred from this life or the other life, they will all be cleansed. You will be clean. You will be pure. Ganga, Gita, cha Savitri, Sita, Satya, Patibrata. These are the words. These are the names. Ganga, Gita, Savitri, Sita, Satya, Patibrata. Brahma Valir, Brahma Vidya, Trisandha, Mukti Gehini. Ardhamatra, Chitananda, Bhavagni, Bhranti Nashini. These are the names. Vedatrayi, Paramananda, Tattvartha Jnana Manjari. These are all the names. Ganga, Gita, cha Savitri, Sita, Satya, Patibrata. That is Ganga, Gita, Savitri, Sita, Satya, Patibrata. Brahma Valir, Brahma Vidya, Trisandha, Mukti Gehini. Ardhamatra, Chitananda, Bhavagni, Bhranti Nashini, Vedatrayi, Paramananda, Tattvartha Jnana Manjari. So these are the names, 14 names. If Lord Krishna says, Ittetani jape nityam naro nischala manasa. If a person with his, with a contemplative mind, with a very, very calm mind, if he can just, chant these names every day with a calm mind, if a person can chant this name every day, Jnana Siddhim Labhe Nityam, he is going to attain that, that eternal knowledge. Is going to attain that eternal knowledge. Tathante Paramam Padam. And after that, in the afterlife, is also going to attain, the highest abode. So this is all about, this the greatness of Sri Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. We are going to chant a little bit after this. Please chant with me together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare। भक्ताधीन श्री भगवान की जय, संग जननी श्री गुरु माता की जय, इंटरनेशनल वेदांता सोसाइटी की जय। Thank you very much. So next Thursday we are going to meet again and have a nice weekend, and we are going to meet again on Thursday with this 7th chapter for the remaining verses. Thank you. Jai Bhagwan.